C'est quoi qu'il y a sur le tableau?
Il n'y a pas de tableau.
Ah, c'est...
On sait même pas qui donne la classe.
Planifié. C'est le pas planifié.
It's around this part. The birds are not
C'est
C'est le service de qui?
spontané.
Oui, c'est ça le verset avant. On déploie Krishna avec le Kaushtuba.
Ah oui.
D'abord avec les 4 attributs, les 4 bras. Probablement 10, 11. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we are reading today text 11, chapter 3, the birth of Lord Krishna, canto 10.
Mais on fait une classe en français.
En français.
Mais oui,
S'il vous plaît.
on a plus de français là. Pourquoi pas?
Vous voulez qu'on parle en français?
Oui.
La demoiselle, elle comprend le français? Vous ne comprenez pas le français?
Il faut parler anglais si elle ne comprend pas.
C'est bien pour elle.
You understand French?
Il y a plein de gens sur internet qui réclament des classes en français.
No,
Je parle un anglais très français. Tu vas comprendre.
Anyways, there's not like that many people in Tampere. I mean, it depends.
Bon, on fait comme tu veux.
Tout le monde comprenait anglais? Non.
Sa Vishmaya Udfura Vilochana. Ah ouais, mais oui, il n'y a pas le tableau. Donc je vais le lire 3 fois, tout simplement.
D'accord.
Sa Vishmaya Udfura Vilochano Harim Sutam Vilokhyana Kunda Dudubistada Krishna Vatororotsava Sambramo Sprishan Mudadvijebhyo Yodamma Plutogavam Sa Vishma Yotfofula Vilochana Harim Suta Vilokyana Katandundubistada Krishna Havatarotsava Sambramo Sprishan Mudadvijebhyo Yodamma Plutogavam Sa Vishma Yotfula Vilochana Harim Sutam Vilokya Hanakandundubistadam Krishna Vata Toratsava Sambramo Sprishan Mudadvichebhyo Yutaha Plutogavam Saha He Vasudev, also known as Anakadundubi Vishmaya Utfura Vilochana, his eyes being struck with wonder at the beautiful appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
At the beautiful appearance of the Supreme Personality of God.
Harim,
Harim,
Lord Hari,
Lord Hari,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
the Supreme Personality of God.
Sutam, as his son,
As his son,
Vilokya,
Vilochana,
observing, Anakadundubihi,
Anakadundubihi,
Vasudev,
Vasudev.
Tada,
Tada,
at that time,
at that time,
Krishna Havatarotsava,
Avatarotsava,
for a festival to be observed
for a festival to be observed
because of Krishna's appearance.
because of Krishna's appearance.
Sambramaha,
Sambrahma,
wishing to welcome the Lord
wishing to welcome the Lord
with great respect.
with great respect.
Asprishat
Asprishat
took advantage by distributing
took advantage by distributing
Mudaha
Buddha
with great tribulation,
with great jubilation.
Vijebhyaha
Vijaya
to the Brahmana,
to the Brahmanas.
Achyutam
Achyutam
10,000. Aplutaha
Aplutaha
overwhelmed, surcharged. Gavam
Kavam
cows. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When Vasudev saw this extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas, a transcendental festival. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has analyzed the wonder of Vasudeva upon seeing his extraordinary child. Vasudeva was shivering with wonder to see a newborn child decorated so nicely with valuable garments and gems. He could immediately understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had appeared, not as an ordinary child, but in his original, fully decorated, four-handed form. The first wonder was that the Lord was not afraid to appear within the present house of Krishna, of Kamsa, where Vasudeva and Devaki were interned. Second, although the Lord, the supreme transcendence, is all-pervading, he had appeared from the womb of Devaki. The third point of wonder, therefore, was that a child could take birth from the womb so nicely decorated. Fourth, the supreme personality of Godhead was Vasudeva, worshipable deity, yet has taken birth as his son. For all these reasons, Vasudeva was transcendentally jubilant, and he wanted to perform festival as Kshatriya do to celebrate the birth of a child. But because of his imprisonment, he was unable to do it externally, and therefore he performed the festival within his mind. That was just as good. If one cannot externally serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can serve the Lord within one's mind, since the activities of the mind are as good as those of the other senses. This is called the non-dual or absolute situation, Advaya Jnana. People generally perform ritualistic ceremony for the birth of a child. But then, should Vasudeva not have performed such a ceremony when the Supreme Lord appeared as his son? Omagalachiminandasya gananjala shanakalaisha churumiritam yena tasma shri gurave namaham Shri Chaitanya Madhav Bhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutane Swayarupam Karamadhyam Narati Swaparantikam Hey Krishna Karina Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kantarada Kantanamastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu yaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare So we are here at a point where Vasudeva is gifted with the vision, the darshan of the Supreme Lord, and very much blessed because he could have, with his wife Devaki, the Supreme Lord being a newborn child. So we spoke on the previous verses, or some special devotee can have this big boon, super extraordinary boon, to have the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear as their son. It is said that actually that's not the first time that Vasudeva and Devaki got the Supreme Lord as a child, but they already got him as a child in previous birth. So the situation is always being parents of Lord Krishna, be it in this universe or in another. It is explained that the pastime of the Lord as a person, of course he enacts much more pastimes through his devotees or through his expansions or through his avatar or Shaktaves avatar, means special personality who are imbued with love of God and who perform a gigantic task of elevating the consciousness of the people in the planet where they live. But Vasudeva and Devaki, they take birth in another planet and they follow the Lord, because the Lord, it is said that the pastime of the Lord are eternal. It means that the same way the sun is appearing for us at a certain time, and then it is appearing for some other people late, more in the east, at a certain time, similarly. You see, and you see the sun setting, then after it is midday. But from other people, it is they see the sun as appearing, as setting. Setting, ça veut dire se coucher ou se lever?
Se coucher.
Ça veut dire se coucher.
Rising.
Setting or appearing. For some people it is appearing, for some people it is setting. So similarly, Vasudeva and Devaki, they also perform these pastimes of appearing where the Lord appears and enacting this pastime of giving birth to Krishna. So the Lord is like the sun appearing in one universe or on another, because it is said that there is not this universe. This universe is one of the smallest. But when Krishna creates in material energy, he creates trillions and billions of universes. And in this universe there is billions and trillions of planets or planetary system. And this, in each of these planets there is billions and trillions of living entities. And there is billions and trillions of them taking birth as a human, in a human body, in a human suit. And of these millions and trillions of living entities that takes birth in a suit of human or woman, a few are entitled to practice devotional service or be introduced in some form of devotional service in a system of religion or another. Like that, there is evolution of the consciousness of the living entities. The living entities are taking birth in very low consciousness. Imagine bacteria in the bottom of the ocean near the Marian Isles, Iceland, where it is minus 12 kilometers. Such a formidable and heavy pressure, dense, dark, desert-like countryside. And some living entities are there, and their consciousness is very low. And they take birth, and they die very quickly like that. And little by little they take their consciousness again bloom. This is the process of evolution. Not like it was depicted by Darwin, the body, who advocate that the body is changing. But Srila Prabhupada explained the body is already changing at every second anyway. Be it body of this or that, the process is the same. The bodies are changing at every step, every second. And death is just one end of a karma, then another book of the karma that opens. But the change is same. Be it in a body or in another, the body is always changing. But the soul, the person, the personality that's inside the body is always the same. So the personality, the sense that I am living, I have some consciousness, I'm existing, I am me. This sense of existence is the consciousness, is the symptom of the consciousness of the soul. The owner or le locataire, le hirer, the hirer of the body.
What do you call it? Renter?
Hein, c'est ça, le locataire. When you hire an apartment, you are a hirer.
Renting.
Yeah, so everybody, every one of us is a hirer of a certain body that is changing. So it is explained that the change of body doesn't imply that there is a change of the owner or the hirer of the body. So the consciousness little by little becomes blossoming like a flower, and when it reaches the form, the cage of a human body, then with the package comes a bloom consciousness which enables one to practice devotional service. Devotional service or shadow of devotional service means religious activities towards the Supreme Lord are not allowed in other species, lower species of life. In other words, when someone gets a hog's body, he is obliged to act in a hog's body, and he will not able to practice prayer or go to a church or act as a human civilized being can do. He will just look for food. So basically, when you look all the living entities that are below the human form of life, they are just looking for food. Protecting, of course, also. Trying to harass others too, because others are food for him. And it's the law of the jungle. So the human being is, to some extent, escaping from the law of the jungle, because some good arrangements are made for him, for his food, for his protection, for mating, for defending, and he can spare some time for spiritual realization. So Krishna is looking, we think we are looking, we think we are the lookers, but actually Guru and Krishna are the lookers. They are the seers. We are to be seen. Vous comprenez? On est la personne qui est vue. On n'est pas ceux qui voyons. On pense qu'on voit, qu'on contrôle ce qu'on voit. Et tout. Mais avant qu'on puisse voir, il y a beaucoup d'entités vivantes qui voient avant. Les devas, et avant les devas, le Seigneur suprême. So before we can see, we have to understand that the devatas, the semi-gods, enable our body to have the perception of seeing. So they see first before us. But before the devatas, the Supreme Lord is looking. For example, in a war, when some soldier kills another, it means this person is seen by the soldier who kills. It means Krishna had given him the power to see it and act with his gun. He thinks he kills, but he is just a fork, an instrument for killing the soldier. He is being used by the Supreme Lord to be eliminated. So we have to see things like that. We think we are the doer, but we are actually being obliged to do because of the circumstances and the people around us. But the life gives us this false sense that we are navigating our own boat, although in fact the boat is navigating by the winds. We think we direct the boat, but it is false. The wind, and behind the wind is not only the wind, the currents, the weather, so many things. They direct the boat, and before the devatas, before the wind, there is Krishna, who gives authorization for the wind, the devatas of the wind, to make air blows in such a way that the boat goes in this way. So we have to see things how they are organized, how material nature is organized. So here Vasudeva has this extraordinary boon of being enabled to have the darshan of the Lord because of previous severe austerity he have been done in his past life, and now he is getting the crop because you put some seeds before, then you get the crop. So in this world it works this way, that you have to prepare your future by doing a certain kind of activities. Of course, if you are ignorant and you send seeds in the nature like that, you will get weeds probably. Some intelligent person have to understand to choose the seeds and to understand what kind of fruit will give this seed and where to put it, in what kind of soil, or to water it, too much, shadow, light, so many things. And like that, your tree can grow and you can get the fruits. Someone who is intelligent does like that. Similarly, a student or someone who is very young, he see in his future, oh, if I don't do studies or if I don't get some skills, oh, I will have a good salary, a good position in the society. So you work hard for that. Some people are even getting a loan from the government, and the loan is so heavy that these poor students, when they get their jobs, they have to repay the loan, and even when they go to retirement, when they retire, they still have to pay the loan because the studies were so expensive. Yeah, in America it is current, this kind of situation. Not so much in Europe, but it's coming this way because they want to copy, they want to duplicate, do the same system. So it means the schools are becoming lower, 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 and lower, and if you would not good school, then you have to pay. Anyway, see the Kali Yuga is going on like that. So someone is a little spiritually inclined and who have some interest in what direction to direct his own self, not only the body, but the future of the soul. What will be the future of the soul? Unfortunately, in our society, there is no university or systematic education in order to help people to direct the direction where the soul will be in the future. They just see what will be in the future at the tip of the nose, prayer, in the future of a few 10 20, 30 years, they educate for getting good education, good salary, good job for the next 20, 30 years. But in the flood of eternity, it is like a flash, a second. What will happen after this flash and this second? This, nobody knows.
Another flash.
After the flash.
Another.
Nobody knows. This human form of life is rarely acquired, and it lasts like a few seconds. If you see in the Bhagavatam that the devatas are living the low in the small planets, lower heavenly planets, they live 10,000 years. But in the upper planets they live, you are a few zero, and when you arrive to Brahma, who is the engineer of this world, so many zeros are there. So when they consider the flood of 70 years, 100 years in Kali Yuga, that's the duration of the life for the human being at the moment, they laugh. They consider it like a flash. So imagine from the point of view of Krishna. Because the Brahmas, they see they live 100 years, but their years are extended duplicate of our 100 years of living, of duration. In Kali Yuga we live maximum 100 years. In the past Yuga, people would live 1,000 years. And in the background there is still some remnants of those people who were living 500, 600, 800 years. They were living in Vapara Yuga. But even this extent, this amount of time that seems to us a tale or something incredible, is just a flip, nothing. And still it has value, because in this short lapse of time, the mind can be oriented and elevated in this ladder. A ladder, it can be used for elevating ourselves, but it can be used also for going in the basement, in the cave, la cave. So the ladder of the mind can be used in different ways. So people can get a better life, can be the same life, but they can degrade also themselves. If they are in an animalistic way, unfortunately they will lose the opportunity to gain again human body. So the mind is an important thing, and we see in this purport how Vasudeva was such an advanced devotee that he could control his mind, and because he was chained, he was in a prison, nice prison house in a palace, under the custody of Kamsha's guard with his wife. So both were, they could not do so many things. So when they got such a nice son that revealed himself as the Supreme Personality of God, of course they enacted the war festival with their mind, because they could not do it with their body. So it shows how advanced Vasudeva was, because he could settle a world festival, giving cows, chanting mantra, all this just in his mind. If we would have to do the same thing with us, it will be, you will see that it will be difficult. Because our mind have been trained to jump from one branch to another, like a monkey. In the jungle also, so many trees, so many branches. So the mind, especially in Kali Yuga, is accustomed to jump from one object of the senses to another one. And very often the senses are putting us both or twice at the same time, and people become puzzled what to do. So many things are attracting or repulsing. So like that in Kali Yuga people are ballotted, like a piece of straw in a river, so many waves, and the mind is like that, going this way, this way, this way, attracted by this fashion, this mood, this way of doing things, this political, this job, this woman, this object I want to buy, this I want to play with. So it is said that in Kali Yuga, the mind of the people are always disturbed. And it's a fact, we can see it in the society. You see the TV, you see this, the film, the mind is exploding. Here we can see that in the past people were educated to train the mind as well as the senses. As a result, they were pious. And as a result, they got a better weather. Because Krishna says that when people perform sacrifices, then the rain comes. If you get rain, you get crops, you get grass, you get milk because the cow have something to eat, and you get rich, you have all the facilities for living. So this tale of CO2 heating of the planet, limiting people, it is just another hoax fomented by greedy people who want to tax and fill up the big pockets. Yes, big pockets. They have big pockets because they are a big greedy appetite. It's a problem. They are powerful because they are in charge of manipulating the government, and they buy whoever they want with their big pockets, the money. So our society is not directed by politicians or the people or democracy or these flimsy walls. It's directed by those big greedy appetites. Bankers, traders, manipulators, all that, all these people. They have no idea how to use money and gift of the match of the nature for the upliftment of humanity. They just think not even of themselves but of their bank account, of their tribe. So this is the problem in Kali Yuga. It is completely misdirected. So here we see that Vasudeva was such a staunch devotee that he could perform devotional service through his mind. This is an advanced stage, and we sometimes see in India some Babaji who are able to chant the Mahamantra much more than 64 rounds. But they don't chant it loudly, they chant it mentally, like Haridas Thakur. Sometimes he was chanting loudly, sometimes mentally also. So when your mind is steady and fixed, you can chant a bigger number of rounds in a shorter period of time. We have no experience of this because we are Westerner and we've been trained in a Kali Yuga way. But when you are trained very early, very young, you can use your memory and your mind really as tools for elevating your consciousness to the Himalayas mountains of the books of Rupa Goswami and the six Goswamis. We can understand what is Kila Kinchita, the mood of Srimati Radharani, being reserved and at the same time angry, because Krishna plays some tricks, or because Krishna went with another gopi, or whatever the pretext. So the spiritual emotions, they will come after the mind is able to concentrate on even to contemplate the pastime of Lord Krishna. So this takes time, this takes introspection and a lot of prayer, and especially not only prayer, but going into the mood of the prayer. Like we have the Mahamantra. The Mahamantra is also prayer. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But the mood of the prayer, the state of mind that we have to try to grasp is that of a mendicant. We are monks, so when we go door to door, we are mendicants, we are seen as mendicants. The people, like so many people, are asking money, food, job, drug, so many things for the things that will give them life. But the devotees have it's another kind of mendicant. They ask for the people to get the mercy. And they themselves, when they chant Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, they ask for the Lord the mercy to become their servant. They ask for service. Please, find me some job, some employment, something that I can do to please you, in order to be able to associate with you one day. So the mood of the prayer is as much as important as the prayer itself. There is not only the Mahamantra prayer, there's many prayers, but you have to go in the books of the Goswamis or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or some other books, and Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, plenty of prayers, and we have to imbibe ourselves in the mood of the prayer, because that's what makes the Mahamantra fruitful and got into the tune. It's like a radio tune. In the past, when I was young, we had this kind of radio. It's not automatic like today's. Anybody, anyway. Nobody listens to radio nowadays, except in traffic jams. Isn't it? But before, the radio was a big invention before the TV. And you had this blue neon or green neon light, and when you get tuned, you had some indication of how far you are from the signal. And you had to tune, and you would see and hear at the same time. At a certain point, when the condensator was properly adjusted, you could hear without noise. And it was a big achievement for the people at this time. During the war also, it was the topmost of the technology. You didn't have this transistor, PNP, NPN, this junction, silicium junction. You had some lamps, hot lamps, like those, but different technology, who had the same effect as a transistor. And people were very fond of that. Like we are from a screen or mobile. Same way, 50, 60, 80 years ago, people were so much enamored of their radio set. Because it was able to canalize their mind in such a way that they could got something from very far away, or got some news from this country or this thing. So the power of sound was really, really deep. It was coming from very far, and it would influence people in such a way that sometimes they will wage war just because of radio. Like Hitler and Goebbels, they would speak on a huge microphone, and it was displayed in millions of people, and it will agitate the mind of so many people, up to the point of, yes, we have to do war. We have to engage. And they were happy to take the gun, because they were prejudiced or brainwashed in a way. So you can't avoid the washing of the brain, because the mind is like a sponge, and is obliged to be imbibed by something. Just someone who is intelligent, he has to foresee, if I wash my brain in such a way, what will be the result of that? So when you read Bhagavad Gita, you understand, if you brainwash the way Krishna wants your brain to be washed in order to be eligible to live in the spiritual atmosphere, then your target should be, well, that's a good thing to do. That's a good target to have in our life. But those who are not intelligent, they don't think about the long future. If I follow what these politicians say, I get agitated, I take the arms, where I will finish? In the trenches. Blow up, I don't know, somewhere, or this. And then after? Again. From the other side.
Yeah.
Because you will be absorbed in enmity toward an enemy, so much that your mind will transfer you to the body on the opposite side. And then again war. So the result will just another pastime in transmigration. You don't end up the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. So someone intelligent, he thinks, well, there's a heavy price to pay for getting rid of this ocean of material suffering. But it is a very deep operation of the heart. It has some value. Even if you don't make it, you'll make it in another life. It will not be lost. Krishna will will be fixed in giving you plenty of other opportunity to make progress. Because he wants it. We are not aware that Krishna is full of love, but he's full of love also for lost sons, lost living entities roaming in the material world. So when he sees someone who has some interest, he gives some facilities. And even if you are not so much serious, you will see that Krishna gives some opportunity and have an eye on you, because you are seen. You are to be seen. So even those who don't do so much spiritual progress, nothing is lost. Neabhikramana shoti pratavayo navidyate. Swapam api asya dhammasya trayato mayato bhayat. The little endeavor in this sense will not be lost. You don't remember, but Krishna remembers. Bhavishani bhutani. He knows, Krishna knows past, present, and future. We don't. We don't know nothing of the future. The present, we know something around us, and the past, Oh, everyone has experienced that we get lost after a few years, days, months. Memory is so easily erased in Kali Yuga. It was not like that in other ages. In Vapara Yuga and Treta Yuga and Golden Age, Satya Yuga, people had such a memory that by just hearing once they could record it. There was no need of books, no hard disks or USB key or things like that. No need. Everything was here. Yes. So that's why they could also practice devotional service in their mind. We have this story in the Nectar of Devotion of one Brahmana, a staunch Brahmana who was very poor, and he was meditating and doing his puja every morning early, alone in a solitary place, and he was cooking his sweet rice. And sweet rice was ready, but he was thinking, oh, it is too hot to be afraid. Normally sweet rice have to be cooled. It is always better when sweet rice is very cool. Of course, in temples, due to schedule, generally devotees, they cook sweet rice and it is not cool, it has not time to cool down. Normally the sweet rice is much better when it is done the day before. Then the rice will melt more and it will acquire a very cool temperature in the fridge. So the Brahmana was thinking, oh, it will burn Krishna's lips. So mentally he checked with his finger the temperature of the sweet rice. And it happened that the sweet rice was too hot. And he get burned, not only in his mind, in his television set, internal television, but his real finger of his body got burned. Wow. So his finger was burnt. What happened? And then Krishna appeared to him, very pleased by his service. We have many examples, like also Shamananda. Shamananda. There is his samadhi in Vrindavan near. It's after the Keshiget. And there is his samadhi, and he was known to sometimes to be so absorbed in his mind, in his samadhi, that in his meditation he was participating in the holy festival. So the holy festival, if you know it, it is a festival originally in the spiritual world, but was enacted by Krishna and the gopis and the gopas 5,000 years ago. And they were throwing some powder and also a syringe. There are some special syringe that they will pump some colored water and throw to the other party, or on Krishna or Radharani. And it will be a splashing festival of multicoloring. It was like that. Not only powder, like we do a replica nowadays, it becomes the fashion in some yoga hall festival like that. Holy festival, throwing powder, colored powder. It's a replica of what it happens in the spiritual world. And Shamananda was such an advanced devotee that in his meditation he was like that. And when he awoke from his meditation, he was drenched in colored liquids. And everybody could see it. What happened to you, Shamananda Prabhu? Yeah, I don't know why I'm drenched like that. And he knew he was in the festival of holy in the spiritual world, and it became manifested on in his body. It means Krishna wanted the other devotee to know that he was meditating on the holy. He was part of it, and he was not a liberated soul, but a hyper-liberated soul. He was part of the Krishna's party, of the Gopis' party. So if you see, if you go to this samadhi, you will see that he is sometimes dressed with multicolored attire, dhoti, kurta, all color, to remember this pastime. Or also sometimes they will be covered with petals of flowers. So many things happen to the utmost devotees who are able to absorb their mind in what's going on in the spiritual world. Of course, for us to go at this level, it's not impossible. But we have to cultivate a desire to get into it. We have to go to be in the mood already here, and then we'll be at ease in this environment and in this space-time, let's say it like that. So to acquire this mood, we have to pray for it, we have to pray for mercy. And that makes us a mendicant, a spiritual mendicant, where we want to attract the mercy of particularly Srimati Radharani, who is in a way more merciful than Krishna. And the way to make Radharani Avanaya on us is to ask Gaunitai to please transfer our impure desire, purify them, and intervene at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is no other than a mix of Krishna with the mood of Srimati Radharani. So he is the introducer of our Kali Yuga soul to the top of the lotus in the spiritual world. So Gaunitai, Nityananda is on the blue, and Gaura means golden like gold, is on the right. So Gaunitai are the most merciful deities, and they are here to propagate the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. They are the introducer for us to be in this such a high society. Thank you for your attention. Maybe some question or comment on this verse that I will read again. When Vasudeva saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas as a transcendental festival.
Hare Krishna.
Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Shamananda. Now
You
we
have
see
a
la
reference for that Leela? When he
la fille de...
observing-
Comment elle s'appelle? Emalata Thakurani.
You have a reference? You have a
I think she was the daughter. Emalata Thakurani.
Hemalata Thakurani,
Yeah. She was also...
the daughter of Shyamananda.
Yeah, I think so.
So she's telling this story.
She was also
Where
drenched.
is it recorded and which
Drenched
scripture?
in this multicolored festival.
We don't know.